Do what the business is.
Bro, I was listening back to that Dr. NBA stuff. Bro, he's out of his fucking mind, dog. Oh my God.
Bro, this guy believes anything. Like, you know how people manipulate shit, bro? Come on, man.
If it's one thing I do with a credit card, you know what I'm saying? I pay that shit off every month. The full balance. Every single month.
Make him stay there. Make him stay there. And people's like, oh yeah, the due date. Fuck the due date, bro. Pay by the statement date. Because when it reports to credit, you want to have the lowest balance possible, man.
Yep.
I was just trying to give man game, but it's all good. What's popping, man? What's popping? What's popping? What's popping? I'm feeling good. Spoke to the man them late last night because the man them was far away. So um, we're looking good, man. We're looking good. These guys are feeling confident. It's the chip with the dip, man. Nothing more, none less.
You know, Shadow, this feels like. Remember when we just started Spaces and you came in and you were like, yo, everybody in the facility is working out and they're doing this and they're doing that. And everybody's just talking about championships.
Yep,
You know
yep.
what I'm saying? This is what that feels like. You know what I'm saying? And the more I think about that Chris Paul thing, the more I get excited. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, he's gonna be a problem, man. Probably the greatest six man of all time, bro. Like coming off the bench, like you have Dennis Johnson and you have certain people, but
Yeah.
Chris Paul is gonna go down as a top 5 point guard of all time. He's probably like he's probably a better player than Jason Kidd at this point, like for the duration of how good he was. But Jason Kidd has the chip, so Chris Paul needs that, man. Chris Paul
I
needs this chip, bro.
I think if you take away the championship and you just look at the game, I've always thought he was better than Jason Kidd. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. Chris Paul's a really good player, bro.
yeah.
We're talking about a first team all NBA now defensively, 7 times, second team twice, finished in the top 3 or 4, like probably like 12, 13 times. You understand what I'm saying? So you gonna be all right, man. We gonna be all right, man. We
Bro,
gonna be all right, man. Dario Saric, Kaminga's leap. You know what I mean? Steph have a lot to prove. Draymond Green got a lot of shit to fucking prove, man. I think he's gonna come in focused, ready for action. You know?
in in 2013, you know, before Steph went on probably the most ridiculous run that we've seen from a guy that we didn't really expect shit from. Like, if you think about what we expected from Steph around 2014 and what he did, bro, like the man, like, he has a case to probably be like if you look at just that stretch of basketball, that's probably one of the most ridiculous stretches that we've seen from anyone based on where he was to where he ended up. You know what I'm saying? Like the jump that he made was absolutely crazy. It's so crazy that you're saying like, is this dude more impactful and better than LeBron James? Like, and that's the kind of jump that he made. Prior to that, I was looking at Chris Paul and I was like, Chris Paul might be the best point guard ever. You know what I'm saying? And the only thing that I was saying back then was like, yo, this dude just doesn't have a championship. Like if he wins a few championships, like I think he's right there with Magic. You know what I'm saying?
Bro,
And
watch him beside Steph, bro. Even for like short spurts. It's gonna look crazy, bro. It's gonna look so crazy. And on top of it, what Chris Paul doesn't get credit for is shooting, bro. That fucker could shoot, bro. That little fucker could shoot, bro. He could really shoot.
yeah, so I remember back like when that Celtics team was good. Like KG, Paul Pierce. um, Ray Allen, and then you had Rondo. You know what I'm saying? Back in them years, Shadow, like, remember how devastating Rondo was? Like, Rondo was doing everything, bro. Like, we forget how good Rondo was.
Oh yeah, Rondo was amazing.
And we were saying, like, yo, like, and and then, like, I remember back then when people was talking about getting Chris Paul to go to Boston. You know what I'm saying? And and I didn't like that because one of the things you could do with Rondo is that you could just give him the jumper. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, he can make the jumper, but you can tell he wasn't really comfortable doing like taking and making that jump shot. You know what I'm saying? So the Lakers, I remember when the Lakers were playing them back then, the Lakers would back up off of him basically, right? And I remember saying like, yo, if Rondo like was comfortable taking and making that shot like on a consistent basis, it would be a problem. And I remember there was like a trade rumor that they wanted Chris Paul to go to Boston. You know what I'm saying? Bro, if they would have made that trade, shit probably looks a lot different because can you imagine Chris Paul around them dudes? With his dribble pass shoot ability and the way that he can read the floor and all of that, bro, it would have been a legit problem. You know what I'm saying? So I'm happy that trade didn't go down because they were talking about that trade. You know what I'm saying? And then they said he was going to go to the Lakers, and then we saw what happened with that, and then he ends up in Los Angeles. You know what I'm saying? So his thing was, yo, like let's go in and say, what'd you say back then? So we had arguments when I said, oh my God.
Brother, no cap in my Rizat, brother. No cap in my Rizat, brother.
Bro, that's right around when Steph was fucking annihilating fucking Denver and
Oh my God, bro. Bro.
he had the Spurs
Rondo's
around
just
his chest.
Rondo's ability just to fucking set the table and where
Yeah.
he's placing the ball was crazy. And that's what I think CP3 and Steph together, it's gonna look he's gonna be like this guy's gonna be making passes wide open. And people try to smother him because he's small, but his like in reality, Chris Paul has always been one of the best ball handlers in the league. Always. He's always been one of the best passers in the league. I can't even remember how many times Chris Paul won the assist title. I don't know. Someone in the chat looked that up, but I'm just saying, man. Like this guy's a great player, man, and I hate to keep bringing up Poole, man, but like the things that Poole was doing great is when Steph Curry was absent or when he could score anytime he wanted to. That was fucking amazing. But what CP3 can do as far as set the table, not turn over the ball. He's committed defensively. He's not going to give you those bullshit fouls and put other teams on the line. Like, come on, man. Like, there's value. It's addition by subtracting, man. You subtract and you get better. Like, we're better, bro. And 2022, we won. We took everybody by storm. We had a solid team. But I think the ceiling on this team is better than 2022, bro. Like, it's a real good team. Real good and solid team. Now, if we get one more piece, we just need one more piece. Just a piece, like, for days when guys sit down out of the starting lineup, you could insert them. Like, when Draymond rests, you could put Dario Saric at the 4. Looney, Steph, Clay, Wiggins. That's still going to win you a bunch of games. Even if he misses 10 games, they can still go 8-2 in that stretch. You understand what I'm saying? And CP3 is going to watch film and get the ball where Clay wants it every single time. So in the second unit, it's going to help. Like it's going to be, oh man, it's going to be good, man. I'm excited. You guys saw you guys saw obviously, well, October 7th we're playing the Lakers, and also the 13th we're playing the Lakers. They just dropped the um official timeline today, basically this morning.
Yeah.
But BOXDER was early and often, because but we're gonna be all right, man. We're gonna get to see the guys run around in preseason. I hope I hope Kerr makes some adjustments. He's been doing a couple of interviews, and he's been and pods, and he's been saying like, he's got to switch some things up. He made some mistakes. A lot of the stuff was on him. So I hope he like we got enough vets where you could play the young guys, man. Like there's no reason why Kaminga shouldn't be with CP3 on the floor for the bulk of CP3's bench minutes. Like I don't know, man.
You know,
Because
Shadow, last season, I think if we had Kaminga, Moses Moody, and CP3 on the floor, that is entirely a different ball game. I think what we didn't see last year, like I think we were so high off of the championship last year, and things were looking immaculate because they went to the playoffs and things were just immaculate. You know what I'm saying? They were
yeah,
doing
but
everything right, and everybody was playing for everyone. You know what I'm saying?
got punched, dog. I ain't gonna lie, dog.
Yeah,
As much as simple as a little punch, it fractured the locker room, and it just completely like the young guys looked at Draymond different. Because what I will tell you is, I'm not saying like these guys worship him, but when you hold someone in such high regard, that's how the young guy like Moses Moody, Kaminga,
yeah,
Wiseman, Poole, they held Draymond Green in such high regard, like this fierce competitiveness, his energy, his defense. They were always asking him questions, always pulling him to the side. Even Wiggins, when Wiggins first got there, he was asking Draymond and Iggy, like, yo, defensively, what do I do? Because he knew he had to lean into something in order to fit on the team. And
yeah,
then Draymond gave him some advice and showed him some things and explained how you break down film, and look at the type of defender Wiggins became. So people really respected him. And that shit fractured the locker room, dog. Like, and that's not the only bonehead thing that Draymond did too. Like, after what's his name? Miles Bridges. After Miles Bridges got in that altercation with his wife, people got to remember he went and worked out like a week after that and posted the picture on Instagram. Bro, that's Wiggins' girl's sister. So Wiggins is looking at Draymond with 10 heads like, dog, I have to go home every night and hear about this shit. What are you doing, dog? You understand what I'm saying? So he did
yeah,
some bonehead shit, which really fractured the locker room. And even Steph and even Looney went in and said, he's going to have to earn our trust back. Like, come on. Like, how we even get to the point where Draymond Green got to earn your trust back? Like, come on, man. I thought we were way past 2019. You know what I'm saying? So it was a mess. We tried to keep it positive. You win some, you lose some, but bro, I need to squeeze like a fucking lemon on Phoenix's fucking Heat week. Like I need to squeeze 2 championships out of this. I want to be greedy and get a three-peat, but I confidently think that these guys can go back to back. Confidently, before it's all said and done.
yeah. So I think that I don't think this is a situation, Shadow. Like I've seen this before, where like a team just like they get old and they just panic and they just start to accumulate old guys. You know what I'm saying? I think this is a little bit different because so remember like when Barkley got old, Elijah Wan got old, and Pippen and all of that stuff, and they were on the same team or whatever. I don't think that works
Yeah.
because I feel like when you start to get dudes and you start to get big egos and all of that stuff, everybody's game has to fit. You know what I'm saying? And and I know that Steph, Clay, Draymond's games fit, right? But this is what I know about Steph. Steph and Clay can play with anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like you put them out there and they can play with a player like Chris Paul, especially a player like Chris Paul, because they're not standing still. And I feel like when I was watching some of those Phoenix games last year, it was a lot of your turn, my turn. You know what I'm saying? And, like next thing you know, Chris Paul has the ball and he's creating. And then you see the KD fans, they were screaming. They were like, get Chris Paul off the floor. Dude, like give KD the ball constantly, blah, 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 right? But But like then you look at it, and then Chris Paul was just spotting up half of the time. You know what I'm saying? Like his spot up percentages last year were immaculate, and his the amount of times that he was spotting up, it went up, right? Like the frequency went up. You know what I'm saying? So I was kind of looking at that, and I'm like, you could theoretically have him on the floor with Steph and Clay and Draymond all at once. You know what I'm saying? Like there is a world that you could have them out there like that, because the thing with Jordan Poole is that Jordan Poole, you would have him out there, but one, the defense was atrocious, right? That's the first thing. And then secondly, whenever he got the ball, his first inkling was not to make a play, but was to get his own shot. You know what I'm saying? So Steph gave him that freedom, and it's almost like he abused it in some odd way. You know what I'm saying? So I think we're in a good spot. We need like a playmaker, like somebody to like run the offense. You know what I'm saying? And we've been asking for this for years. And it's funny that people aren't more receptive towards it. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was a brilliant move because I thought that so in 2019, I felt like the Rockets undervalued him, and they just kind of shipped him off. You know what I'm saying? They were like, "Let me get a draft pick for you and bring Westbrook." And Westbrook is not the kind of player that CP is. You know what I'm saying? Like he makes other people better. I don't think Russ really makes others better. Um, then you get to OKC and he takes them to the playoffs and he does all of this shit. Super impressive. After they damn near left him for dead. And then OKC was like, all right, we're going to go another direction and we are just going to go young. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're just going to look to go young and just get some other guys in here. And then they trade him away to Phoenix, bro, for like nothing. You know what I'm saying? They literally traded him to Phoenix for absolutely nothing. If you look at what they got back, bro, they got zero for him. So they trade him away, and next thing you know, Phoenix was in the finals. Phoenix is winning 60 something games, right? So he always brought his team to that point. You know what I'm saying? So I thought what he did was like really impressive. So then now we have him, and his stock is like all time low. You know what I'm saying? Like his stock is like super low now. So everybody is doubting him, and they think he's done, and he's this and he's that. But bro, like even as bad as people claim that he was last year, because I don't think he was that bad, he was still really, really good. And that Phoenix team was okay, even though they had a shitload of injuries and all of that stuff. So, I think if you put him on this
Yeah.
team and you say, yo, like, you got Steph to kind of ease the burden on him, you got Draymond defensively, you got Clay, you got Wiggins, right? Like I think we're in a much better spot. And when people say that the Warriors are done and they're this and they're that, like I'm like, did you see how good they were last year with all the bullshit? You know what I'm saying? Like once they were clicking, and there was a bunch of guards on the floor too. You know what I'm saying? And now that they're 1 year older, and people were expecting to make all these wholesale changes and this and that, bro. All they needed was a tweak here and a tweak there, and that's all they needed. I don't think they needed to overhaul the roster, and I'm glad they didn't. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what people were really expecting. You know?
Yeah, last season we had a bunch of wasted roster spots. To
Yeah,
be
bro.
honest with you, we had like Anthony Lamb unnecessary, Ty Jerome unnecessary, James Wiseman unnecessary. You know what I'm saying? You add Kaminga and you're in the playoffs and you're not even playing him. Like the shit was really disgusting. But at the end of the day, there was like five storylines within one season. Like you understand what I'm saying? Steph had a bad injury. He missed some time. Um, Wiggins missed some time with the injury as well as his family. The punch. Draymond Green was injured. Clay missed some time because he had to go back into the season, um, playing no back to backs at some point. Like we forget there was a lot of things that happened, and right now, like let's look at the league. Like Denver collectively was a really good team, but I think that Bowen, because I think Bruce Bowen, I mean, not Bruce Bowen, Bruce Brown was like the third best player in in those playoffs. You understand what I'm saying? I think the three best players were on one team. I think he outplayed Bam. I think he outplayed Jimmy in the finals, and he's gone. That's a huge miss. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't think that the Bucks necessarily got any better. I think the Celtics got better. I think Dallas got better. I think Dallas will be more in the mix. I don't think Dallas will be missing the playoffs. But as far as it's concerned, our chances in the West, I'm loving them. You understand what I'm saying? I think if we pushed to be first in the West, I think we could do it. But I think we could cruise and do what we need to do. And I think this team is solid, and I think they have a chip on their shoulder. They didn't have that fire last season. You could see it in their face. They weren't. There was no chemistry. The bench, they weren't like being fans of each other. Remember last year, on NBC Sports in
Yeah,
Chase Center, they instituted the Joy Cam. Fam, everybody had a straight face when Steph made threes. People had a crazy dunk. Nobody was really going super ham. You understand what I'm saying? And also
yeah,
GP3 came to the team in February, and GP2, and he wasn't fully healthy. You understand what I'm saying? So that compromised our defense. Wiggins missed 45 games. That compromised our defense. So there was a lot of variables, bro. Like, so I think we're good, man. I think we're good. And I'm going to tell you guys, Wiggins is going to look more similar to the first 20 games of the season. You understand what I'm saying? He had to catch his rhythm and do certain things. In the playoffs, he was sensational on the defensive side of the ball. He was really working. But I think Steve Kerr has to get him more in the offense, bro. It's fucking crazy that once every 10 games they call elbow on him on the mismatch on the guard on the switch. And then he does that baby hook, which he hits like 80 something percent of the time, and he doesn't get the ball, bro. He's not in the split. He's not in the split actions. He's not in no floppies. He's not in no downhill actions, which he's really good at rim pressure. Like the best things about Wiggins' game, he's not incorporated into the offense. And I think this season he gets that, and I think he picks up some of the scoring load that Jordan Poole had, and I think we're gonna be good, bro.
you
Straight
know
up,
what I think they need to do too? I think they need to slow the pace down just a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
a lot, brother,
Yeah, like
a lot.
I think the pace kind of compromised their defense last year.
And I hate to bring up the bonehead Lakers, but Lakers at the beginning of the season was number one. We were number two in pace. After the trade, Lakers went to middle of the field. They went to like 13, 14 in pace. And saw how they finished off from there. And you saw how
Yeah,
much better they were. Like we're just better. Like we're a half court team. We could dice people up and do what we do. Like our set like I don't know, man. Steve Kerr got a lot of work to do, man. All this we got the pieces. This shit's on Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr really got to coach his ass off, and the rotations got to be right. I
yeah,
hate to hate to say it, man, but Mike Brown made a huge fucking difference. Kenny Atkins got to fucking get on Steve Kerr and just stop being a yes man and say, yo, bro, CP3's here. My specialty is pick and roll. Let me run some actions. You know what I mean? Let's like they were see. Remember Phoenix would run that Spain pick and roll, and that
mm,
shit would fucking dice teams up, bro. Like we got to incorporate some of that shit, bro. Like straight up between him, Kaminga, he's got GP2, he's got Wiggins. He could do um pick and pop with Clay and Steph. Like, come on, man. CP3's got two shooters on either side. He's got two slashers in Wiggins, three slashers in Wiggins, GP2, and Kaminga. Like, he's never had this much weapons, bro. Like, there's no excuse not to fucking go crazy in the NBA and establish it. Like, I get people say, regular season doesn't matter, but bro, I need to see flashes, bro. I need to see a 10-game winning streak during the season. I need to see that shit. I need to see no more than three losses, four losses at home, and I need to see a fucking an above 500 road record, a way above 500. Like, you know what I mean? Way above 500 road record. And we do
yeah.
that, man, we'll
I
be
think
okay.
if
We need
they're
to be at
like,
least 10 games over 500 on the road.
yeah. So the road thing was alarming to me, but at the same time, I was kind of looking at it last year, and I was like, yeah, it's alarming, but they were like resting guys on the road. You know what I'm saying? And the road schedule last year was kind of fucked up. Like it's
Oh yeah,
almost
yeah.
like it's almost like the league was like, y'all ran through the playoffs last year, so let's give y'all a harder road record. And I'm like, what the fuck sense does that make? You know what I'm saying? It's almost like they didn't want to make it easy on them. It it's funny, like, yeah, we did some selves to shoot ourselves in the foot last year, but it's like they came out with giving us like the most back to backs and a crappy road thing, and then you know, like you kind of look at it, and then you're like, they did everything not to help the Warriors, but they did a lot of things to hinder them. You know what I'm saying? Like then you look at like the salary cap stuff and the CBA and all of that, and everything that was done with the CBA was used to break up the Warriors. You know what I'm saying? And it's like I don't even like in one instance, people are saying like, "Oh, the Warriors, like they're trash. They have a bunch of overpaid people. Blah 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 blah. They're not going to go anywhere." And the next thing you know, they win, and then they're doing everything to break up the team. You know what I'm saying? Like everything to break up the team. Meanwhile, this dude, this team has dudes that was drafted, with the team. Like everybody was damn near drafted, right? And then you have the only player that wasn't drafted is damn near Wiggins. You know what I'm saying? And then everybody's drafted, and they're doing everything to break up the drafted team. You know what I'm saying? And but yet they're doing things to make sure the team keeps their drafted players. You know what I'm saying? And but not for the Warriors. You know what I'm saying? Like let's do everything to break them up. Second apron, all this other bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And it's not like they're just collecting talent and like hoarding talent and getting free agents and all of that. They're not doing any of that shit. So I feel like there was a lot of things done to go against the grain with the Warriors, man. I'm telling you, like just so much shit. And I don't even think they were even that talented, but that's just me.
I agree. I agree. I agree. It was.
So
I agree, man. We had an opportunity last year and we tricked it off, but we're back and we're doing the do, man. I'm ready to go.
yeah, so I am so can you like drop any gems about Wiggins and like what's going on over there and all of that? Like I'm seeing the photos and stuff and I'm seeing the videos and man looks like he's having a time of his life, bro.
Yeah, Wiggins is in China with his dogs and his wife, and he dropped a new shoe. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I'm always about supporting Wiggins, but the shit that they had before was
Yeah.
garbage. I told Wiggins, forward me my size 11, dog. I need my and bro, them shits were look them shit like that between Anta and Peak.
Like when
Yeah.
him and Clay were are on Anta and Peak, like the shit didn't look good, man. But this year, man, the like I don't know what designers or whatever that they have. Those I need those shits for the gym, bro. Go run some hoops,
Yeah.
and go work out. So he's really happy about that. Um, he's obviously going to come back for Carabao. He loves being home, really, right? So, he's gonna come back, and then right after that, he's gonna go right back to the Bay. Go swag out with the boys. Steph, get up with CP3, like do all those things, get acclimated. And CP3 as a leader, we needed another leader, man. Like Steph is quiet, reserved. Iggy's never in uniform, so it's how much are you gonna listen to him? You understand what I'm saying? And then Draymond lost the locker room. So with that being said, between CP3, Steph, there's multiple voices, and Draymond now. There's multiple voices, and there's multiple voices that the team can hang on to, and CP3's experience, despite he hasn't won a championship, is going to help. You understand what I'm saying? It's going to help, and his IQ, man. Like you're going to have like some of the smartest guys do what it do. There's a lot of things that CP3 did and he instituted, like with the sweet fouls, with going to the line so much frequently, um his because of one season, I forget what season is, but he was the clutch, just like how Darian Fox was clutch in the fourth. CP3 was clutch multiple times. Like He's a real good player, man. It's gonna and it's gonna help. But I think most these guys are really about August, September, getting together and running, having runs, working on the offense, tweaking the offense. I think CP3 is gonna bring a lot of value because he can bring. He's played for so many different coaches that's ran stuff for his strengths, so he's gonna know exactly what to tell Kerr in order to make these guys a better team. And there's only so much, bro. Like 9 years is a long time to be running the exact same offense. The league fucking knows. The league starts running it, bro. Like, how embarrassed I am when I see fucking Dallas running the split action on us. You understand what I'm saying? That shit is embarrassing, bro. Like, it's time for Steve Kerr to switch shit up, man. Straight up. With all due respect, man.
The Dallas thing. Yes, so that's kind of what I noticed last year, Shadow. So teams didn't really lean into it like we do, but they started to run some of our actions. You know what I'm saying? And
And not only just run our actions, they would jump our actions. We would get turnovers running the split action. We would get turnovers running the triangle stuff. We would get turnovers running the Steph relocation stuff. They would bump Steph out of bounds when Steph is making those cuts because they knew exactly where he was going. Just time to switch shit up, bro. We got to surprise people. Like, we could still keep it like 60-70% of the offense, but we got to tweak some shit, bro. Like, shit's way too repetitive, bro. I think we should. I
yeah,
think we should. I think we should run in spots. I think in the fourth quarter, the third quarter. I think we should run but run off of stops. So we're committed on the defensive end. Running all the time, make or miss, is just stupid, bro. Like, I think transition is a treat. When you make a stop, you run, and that's what we got to get back into. Slow down the pace and only run when we make a stop. Simple.
yeah. Last year I think we were and it's funny because the point of running the actions we do is to be less predictable. And I remember watching the Lakers series, bro, and I saw Steph running around, right? And the Lakers were like, yeah, we're just not going to guard the two dudes on the floor, like, at all. You know what I'm saying? And then you had, like, the Laker idiots over there saying, like, oh, look at Steph. He can't do shit. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, two dudes, like, literally two dudes aren't being guarded. You know what I'm saying? And, and they just took advantage of that. Like, they were just blanketing Steph and just leaving Draymond and Looney open. And then once they just pulled AD out the paint, the Lakers couldn't stop the shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just kind of a wrap. So, yo, I promise you, bro, we are gonna wipe the Lakers off the floor this fucking year, bro. Like they won't even know what hit them. Because I was watching the series last year, and I was like
Yeah.
rewatching, and we were like handicapped with like certain type of situations, like all them
Like
guards and this and that,
like
right?
certain lineups, right? Like four
Bro,
guards on the court and shit.
Shadow, it was crippling. Like it was absolutely crippling. And a lot of it was like politics, you know what I'm saying? Because you got fucking Dante, and Dante's there bitching, Jordan Poole is bitching, you know. I don't get the sense that GP2 was even saying anything all like that, you know what I'm saying? He just wasn't there physically. And you had those three guys coming off the bench, and then you had like Kaminga, and Kaminga should be on the floor, but just off of the fact that he's fucking 6'8", you know what I'm saying? And he can't be on the floor. And it was just a bunch of political bullshit, bro. So now I get a better sense this year that we have a player like Saric, and Saric is more like you can put him in any lineup damn near. You know what I'm saying? So I think we need more guys, and now this year that we have Saric, so instead of fucking Anthony Lamb out there being like the connector, and he's not even that good, now we have better guys out there that are better connectors, right? So that's why I feel better about this year. Kevin, what's going on, brother? Haven't heard from you in a minute.
What to do with the business?
In the cut, man. What's going on?
In the
Oh
cut.
man, I'm gearing up for football season right now, and all that jazz. But I mean, I was watching a little bit of Sarge the other day, and I feel like he's exactly what we needed. We needed spacing and shooting from a big man. So I think it's going to be a good addition. I'm excited to see how he works with Steph and Draymond, um, because he can shoot, right. So he can go to the corners. He can be on the wings. When they do this pick and roll, Draymond's going to have the option to throw a lob or get it out to Sarge or Clay for a three. So um, it's gonna be cool to see. I hope it works out. But yeah, the whole Anthony Lamb thing, while he was a plus on the court, like he just didn't give us enough. I don't think. You know what I mean?
Where's Anthony Lamb this year? Did he get picked up on a roster or anything, or oh, he's in China? Are you being for real?
It, is Sarge a good defender? Like, does he play defense?
Yeah. He's pretty good. He's not
Okay.
like he's not like Andre Iguodala, but he's solid. When he was in Phoenix, that first year before he tore his ACL, he was really, really good for them off the bench. You know what I'm saying? Every Phoenix fan would tell you that him tearing his ACL probably, like it took a little mustard off their fastball in terms of the finals. So
Did Christian Wood get picked up yet?
I haven't heard anything about him. I haven't heard anything about
Why is he not
Christian
signed? I mean, that doesn't
because
make sense.
because he's not great defensively. Like he's a pretty skilled offensive player, but for a big man, like you need your big man to do certain things defensively, and he's not the greatest defensively. So he's not even anchoring your back line. You know what I'm saying? So he's not really like a great rim protector. He's not that great in space, right? So if he's not a great rim protector and he's not great in space, that's a problem, right? So if he's containing a ball handler, right? Typically, what you need to do is that you need to swivel your hips side to side. You know what I'm saying? To kind of react to the direction that the ball handler is going, and he has like stiff hips, right? So if you look at somebody like Evan Mobley, for instance, and you look at how fluid Evan Mobley is, like as a big, like how he's switching directions and he's moving his hips and all of that stuff. He is extremely, extremely fluid. Now, Christian Wood, he just doesn't do that really well. You know what I'm saying? Like you look at him and he should be able to, but he just doesn't do it that well for some reason. So, Bruce, what's going on?
Yo, family, what the motive is? I'm hearing Christian Wood talk all this. What's going on, brother?
Nah, bro,
Boy, me there. I look upon you the better one.
the better one.
He's in a shadow boss.
Yes.
Yo, me and Bruce are fighting for Trey Lance on the timeline. We are fighting.
Kevin, my guy, man. Kevin, I just hate the inconsistency. Listen, we've been waiting for a Super Bowl since '94, but my issue is just be consistent. You know what I mean? If you're gonna support Jimmy G, even though he stinks up the place, support the guy you give up everything for. You know what I mean? And if you're gonna say Sam Darnold is better than him, or now he's outplaying Sam Darnold, I mean Sam Darnold is in year 6. And if a guy who's only started 4 games in the NFL looks similar or a little bit better, I mean, what are we doing? You know what I mean? So I just kind of hate the biased credential media.
But
Yeah,
Trey had like one incompletion yesterday because another incompletion was on the running back,
Yeah,
and
he
they're
ain't look,
kill-
he ain't
and
trying
they
to.
were killing him for it. It's like,
so
bro,
Kev,
this ball, like the ball doesn't have to touch the ground for you to be like satisfied with him. It's like, come on, man, like it's not
so Kev,
2007 Brady. Like,
quick question about Jimmy G. So remember when y'all just got him like mid-season or whatever? Like a few
yeah,
years back, and y'all picked him up like mid-season. I think it was around 2019. Y'all picked him up.
yeah, it was 2017.
Okay, so
Yeah.
y'all picked him up like mid-season, and
Yep.
he looked amazing.
Yeah,
The
he did.
last like the mid the last half of the year, right? He looked amazing, and I thought y'all were gonna do something with him. And then he tore his ACL, right? Like
Yeah.
he tore his ACL to start the year off. You know what? I think when a quarterback tears his ACL in the NFL, it does something to them mentally, and I don't think they necessarily recover from it. I don't think he's ever recovered mentally because, bro, like when you look at him in the pocket, bro, that man has the happiest of happy feet. You know what I'm saying? Like you can see the jitters with him, bro, and I never thought that he recovered from that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what people are waiting on. Like I see like there's like a pro Jimmy contingent in Niners Twitter, and I don't understand why, bro. Like just watch him. Like just watch what the man does in the pocket, bro. Like
No.
That's
So here's the thing. If and Bruce probably remembers this. That season early in the year with Brian Hoyer and the roster that we had, it actually wasn't that bad. Like we were losing game like we lost the first 5 or 6 games by a
yeah,
total of like 15 points. Like we were losing by a field goal every game. Like every game was close. Um we just didn't have that quarterback that could be competent to, move the ball on third down, get us into field goal range, play situational football. And that's what he did. So like people looking like, oh, he was 5-0, but the team was actually not that bad because they were playing close games, right? And we finally had a guy that could get us that field goal at the end of the game or get us a touchdown drive when we needed it and, extend drives because we didn't really have that. And our defense was doing a lot of the work to keep the game close, right? But if you actually go back and watch, like we were putting up points and stuff like that, but it was really the third down stuff that he was completing like at a very high rate. Um, but if you go back and look at his numbers through 5 games, his numbers don't really look that great. He had 7 touchdowns and 5 picks in those 5 games. So when you look at it that perspective, his numbers weren't like mind blowing. But the reason why he was successful was because he was playing with Kyle Shanahan calling plays. And actually, what people don't understand is that for those 5 games, Kyle actually adapted the Patriots system into his game plan because
yeah,
that's what Jimmy Garoppolo was used to, right? Because he was playing in New England. Once he started to filter in the Kyle system with Jimmy G, in 2019, that's kind of when we really saw it. That's the year we went to the Super Bowl. But if you really go back and look at his numbers, again, he was kind of like average. Like so here's to put into perspective, like the ceiling of Jimmy Garoppolo, right? Go back and look at his best season. It is the worst season that Kirk Cousins has ever had, and Kirk Cousins is not considered elite. If you just go look at the numbers, so
so you're
there's a
talking
lot.
about post ACL, right?
I'm talking about post ACL, correct?
Okay, yeah.
So I think the ACL definitely had something to do with it for sure. Um, but at the same time, I mean, I don't know, man. Like,
Kev, all I'm saying is that I just think it's just a different. It takes a different type, bro. Like that game is super physical, and I just think it just takes like a different type of athlete, right?
see.
so here's the
You know
thing,
what I'm
right?
bringing this up to, bro? So this morning, so I go to Lifetime Fitness out here, right? So Donovan McNabb, I see him at the gym damn near every morning, right? So so I was actually talking to him this morning. So after my workout, I like just got back. So I was talking to him like maybe an hour ago, and and he was telling me he's like, yeah, I just moved in this area, blah blah blah. So I'm going to the gym or whatever. So he knows I'm like a big fan of his. You know what I'm saying? So I was just there asking him, fanboying out, just asking him like questions. You know what I'm saying? And I was asking him like from like a mental approach, like what he sees like with certain guys. You know what I'm saying? And he said something to me that was interesting this morning. He was like, the mental aspect of the game, like fuck like all the physical stuff and all of that. He was like the mental stuff of the game, like the injuries and all of that stuff, and trying to overcome the injuries and the knickknacks and this and that. He was like, that is like the toughest part of the game. You know what I'm saying? He was like, you can go to training and all of that, and you can patch this up and patch that up. But he was like, the toughest part of the game, and like why it grinds at certain people so much, is that some guys, like when they get hurt, they can't overcome the shit mentally, right? Like he's like, if you see a dude play for like 7, 8, 9, 10 years, right? He's saying that that is like a different type of dude. You know what I'm saying? Like not even athlete, but it's like the mind part of it is really where you kind of separate yourself. You know what I'm saying? So I found that super interesting this morning, bro.
It makes
Like I was
sense.
just there
Yep.
talking to him.
See, one thing I will say is, I do believe I kind of do agree with Urkel. I do think there was a vision where if Jimmy G doesn't hurt his ACL, he kind of makes like his risk decision making is it adjusted, and I can tell you how I knew because when he came back and he had his first full season and he was wearing a brace, there was a time where he should have ran for like the first down, and you could hear the guy saying, "What is Jimmy doing? Why didn't he just take off?" And then you could kind of tell he kind of got into his own head, and then later on in the game he drove right just to kind of get those jitters out. Same thing happened with Tua last year. Once he came back and he started playing, there was an open lane and he just took it immediately and he got down immediately. So these things you do have to do in order to kind of like
Bruce,
get out of your own head. Yeah, go ahead.
you remember in week 1 of 2018 when the first but pre ACL, so he
Hmm.
tore his ACL week 3 that season, but week 1 in 2018 he did not look good against Minnesota. He had like
Yep.
1 touchdown, 3 picks,
Yep.
and a fumble. Like
Yep.
so that was kind of like the first sign to me, like, well, okay, this guy's human because everybody was raving about him and he's the savior of the 49ers, this 5-0, we're going to go on a run.
Yeah.
Then he tears his ACL. So here's the thing with me, Bruce. I don't know when you were actually out on him, but for me, we went to the Super Bowl in 2019, right? We lost, and
Right.
his quarterback play was atrocious in the fourth quarter. I was not out on him until week 1 the following season, the COVID year, because I thought, okay, well, we got to the Super Bowl. He has some flaws. If we just patch that up, we're gonna go on another run. And he just didn't get better. Like, so that game when we lost to Arizona, and he just couldn't get it done down the stretch, I was like, yeah, this guy's not it. I don't know when you were out on him, but
I will
I
be
was
honest with you.
I was
I,
gonna
I
give him another chance, but he just never improved.
so
So
so so so we had the year we went to the Super Bowl, we had the New Orleans game where he actually played well and he did do some dink and dunks and they turned into big yardage. Like Kittle was like breaking the tackle with like 6, 7 dudes on him, right? There was the Seattle game that we clinched home field. I don't remember if he had great parts of it, but he did do some little things that kind of made me say, okay. The issue is, you know, I always I just know that he's just not a juggernaut type quarterback, and it doesn't take like a microscope to see that, right? But I think for me, when I became out of it was when we was up in the Super Bowl. I'm there rejoicing, like I'm drinking my cognac, and I'm feeling good, and I'm screaming, and people in my apartment neighbors, I know they could hear me because I'm screaming, dude. I'm recording Snapchats, I'm laughing at everybody. And then I could just see Fred Warner catch an interception. I'm like, dude, the game is over, bro. We got this. And then it's just the fact that not only does the coach go away from Debo, who was pretty much a better, more consistent player on offense that you were giving the ball. Not only did Kittle not get so many more opportunities, and the run game was working, and then Jimmy just couldn't land these throws. You know what I mean? And then
Bruce, you know how many yards per carry we were averaging in that Super Bowl?
I think like I don't want to. I think Debo was averaging like 7 yards a carry, if I'm not
Oh,
mistaken.
dude, as a team, we were averaging like 6.2 yards a carry. Like
Okay.
in a
So
Super
I
Bowl,
know.
that's insane.
And so I couldn't understand why we went away from it. But like, the thing is that throw to like Emmanuel Sanders. I know if he catches that or if he throws it perfect, we win the game. But it to me is bigger than that throw. Like I think what did Jimmy have? A touchdown and 2 interceptions.
He had 2 touchdowns and 2 picks.
2 touchdowns and 2 picks. And that's what I'm saying. It's just like when you need him the most, I mean, and then even when you say, okay, let's give him another chance. And then, I mean, dude, the next playoffs, you throw an interception to start against Green Bay. The defense and the special teams got to bail us out. We're playing against the Cowboys. We dominating these dudes, and you're almost throwing a pick six. It's just like you just continue to keep doing the same things. And the fact that whoever empowered you still want to ride with you, that's my issue as to why I'm no longer a big fan of Kyle Shanahan. And that's the reason why you'll see me come to the defense with Trey Lance, because
Bingo.
if you don't have an elite quarterback right now, bro, like we say defense wins championships, but those days are done because our defense has pretty much been top five the last couple of years, and we can't get it done. The Eagles had the top defense last year in the Super Bowl and an elite quarterback, and they couldn't get it done. You get what I'm saying? So like I'm just tired of settling for mediocre when you could see a guy like Justin Herbert who's going to throw 6 touchdowns. Tua, in his small stature, is going to throw 6 touchdowns to come back and beat the Ravens, and we okay with a guy who is just a above average game manager. It make no sense to me, bro.
Dude, okay, don't get me started on Kyle Shanahan, but if you think there's a Jimmy G cult on Twitter, there's a even bigger Kyle Shanahan cult. I don't
Yeah,
get it. I don't know
those are
why.
idiots. Those are
I
idiots.
don't know why, because he's never won anything, and people act like he's like that. So the comparison I make is like Steve Kerr has won 4 titles as a coach. He's won 9 championships as a player and a coach. Yeah, granted, he's been coaching these great teams and playing on great teams, but the guy's a 9-time champion, whether you want to take his rings away or not. Kyle Shanahan's never won shit, and they're acting like that he's the Bill Belichick of the NFL. It's like, bro, like,
So
no,
Kevin,
he hasn't done anything.
so
Like,
so that's interesting that you said that because I went to a Warrior game one time. Shanahan was there, right? And they announced Shanahan on like the loudspeaker or whatever, right? And I was just kind of looking around like in the arena and whatnot just to see like, you know, and people were treating Shanahan like he won 5 Super Bowls, bro. Like,
bro,
Yeah, like he his
they
daddy.
think this guy's a god, bro. They think he's a god for
bro,
for
it's
what reason I
weird.
Kevin,
don't know.
Kevin, listen. From a play calling standpoint, he is elite. I've seen him look at like
100%.
we've all seen him look at the official and say, "Hey, he's gonna hold my tight end on this play. Watch it." And then the dude does exactly what he said. So we know he can create enough strategies to optimize his team. But in doing that, I also believe the power he shifts it, and I think he receives too much praise. And I'm of this belief he's just like Nick Saban, and I'm gonna break it down for you if you don't watch college football. Nick Saban, when he was coaching at LSU, was a regular guy, right? All this GOAT and all this greatest of all time, those were not in the conversation. But you see, once he got to Alabama, he started getting those booster money, and he started putting these kids' parents in big houses and giving them all type of money, and all these kids coming to play for him. Now, not only does he have the most weapons to optimize, but he looks like the best. Now, let me ask you a question, Kevin. If you are the best coach of all time and you know how to find the linebackers, you know how to find the defensive ends, you know how to empower the running backs, the offensive linemen, why is it that you're just now getting 3 quarterbacks who started more than 1 year in the NFL? Did you know that before Tua, before Jalen Hurts, and before Mac Jones, no Alabama quarterback has started consecutive years in NFL since the 1984 season, if I'm not mistaken.
That's
So,
crazy.
so my mind tells me Nick Saban. That's the reason why he didn't last long in the NFL, because these dudes make more money than you. They're not going to listen to you. They're not a kid. They're not a child. They don't have curfew, right? So you tell me, and you've showed me, you prefer game managing quarterbacks, right? Because ultimately you can control them. You can, McElroy, what's the other guy's name? AJ McCarron. All these dudes ain't lasting the league. Right now, McCarron is in the XFL league, so his kid can watch him play. Those were his words. So I say that to say this. Now, when college football has shifted and you see the Tebows and you see these different guys, you say, you know what? I got to make an adjustment. I got to get guys who are dual threat to take over because these are the guys who can dominate the league. You know what I mean? And the game has changed to them. That's why outside of Mac Jones, all those other guys that you see, Bryce and all these guys, they're dual threats, right? Even look at Trevor Lawrence. And for Deshaun Watson, those guys were dual threats. So everybody who was competitive, Justin Fields was with Georgia and then left went to Ohio State, and then whoever Georgia has in. So the game is shifted, and the same thing with Kyle Shanahan, right? But with Shanahan, he would prefer a game managing quarterback because if the Niners lose, you're going to hear he did a tremendous job, and it's really the quarterback. But to start the season, what do we hear? Oh, they could win with anybody. They got 3 quarterbacks that look good. And then when they lose, it's going to be the same story. He's going to be protected. To me, he's overrated, bro. I'm out on him. He's
Bruce,
overrated.
so since the 26, I forget what Super Bowl it was when the Patriots came back, but the dude was calling plays and people gave him a pass because he was not the head coach. That's fine. But do you realize so from that game on, every big playoff game where the Niners have been eliminated, they've been outscored like 70-0 in the fourth quarter, bro. Like, quarterback or not, you're telling me that your boy genius head coach can't manufacture a single point with his play calling in the fourth quarter of a big game? Like,
Well,
come on, man.
go further than that. We beating the
That's like,
Rams.
come on.
We beating the Rams in the NFC Championship 2 years ago before they go to the Super Bowl. Your best player is Deebo Samuel. I mean, if that wasn't evident at the time in Green Bay, you had him on the kick return, you had him on the punt return, you had him in the running back, you had him in the slot, you had him at the X, you had him at the Y. So why do you go away from that and try to empower Jimmy Garoppolo to do something else?
I mean, he did kind of get popped in that game, though, over the middle, if you remember.
Yeah, he did get popped, but I'm still giving him the ball because everybody else don't know what the hell to do. You get what I'm saying? Jimmy Garoppolo got George Kittle, one of the best tight ends in the league, and yet you can't find him. He overthrew Kittle in that game. If he throws and hit Kittle right on the money, bro, we up 2 scores, if not
Oh,
going up 3 scores.
dude, I think it was like the first or second
It
offensive
was the
drive
first.
when
Yeah,
he
bro. Come
overthrows
on.
Kittle. When he
Come on,
overthrows
dude.
Kittle, I'm like, we're fucked.
Come
Like,
on,
we're not
dude.
winning this game. Like, you can't do that.
This is the reason why when you see a player like Joe Burrow, who was horrible initially in college, according to the developers or the scouts, and then had a resurgence and then transfers to LSU, mediocre first year, amazing second year, probably all-time collegiate history, and then comes in the NFL and just start dominating. No offensive line, he tears his ACLs, MCL, comes back and makes it to the Super Bowl. This is the reason why I say players like Josh Allen overrated because I'm seeing Joe Burrow playing with no type of help and dominate. You understand what I'm saying? I'm seeing Joe Burrow still Josh Allen cookies. This is why Stephon Diggs is mad at you. You understand? And we over here got to be wondering if Brock Purdy or if Trey Lance or Sam Darnold is going to be the starting quarterback. We ain't winning nothing with those dudes, man. We ain't
So
winning.
Bruce, you know why Kyle Shanahan's making it really, really hard on himself. And I'm just telling you, go back and do the research. The last 30 Super Bowl winning quarterbacks have had the following physical traits. Okay, I'm gonna listen to them. They were 6'2" and above. They had at least two of the 3, or at least one of the 3 of these. They were 6'2". They were 225 pounds, and what you would consider a good to great arm. The only 2 quarterbacks that have not had those traits were Drew Brees and Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
But at the time, Russell Wilson was winning Super Bowls and going deep in the playoffs. The dude he has a cannon, right? I mean, not so much anymore, but
Right.
he had what you'd consider a great arm. Drew Brees, back when he won the Super Bowl, had a cannon, and he lost it towards the end of his career. So what Kyle is trying to do has not been done in the NFL for the last 30 years. If you're going to play Brock Purdy. So that's why for me it's like, dude, if you're going to do that, good luck. Because
the thing is they think
history
it's another
tells
Tom
me
Brady
you're
story.
not winning the Super Bowl.
They think this is listen, I'm happy for Brock, but there's a reason why he was drafted so late. And that's why my next question or my next theory comes into play, right? We got to figure out who's a part of the scout team because the scout team chose Solomon Thomas and they could have chose Patrick Mahomes, right? If you want to tell me Trey Lance, who has the most upside, is not that good, then who scouted him? Because they should be fired, right? And then if he's not that good or if he can't read the defense, My fault. I got a call. The great Patrick Mahomes said on LeBron James' show he didn't know how to read a defense. Andy Reid was lining up for him. They had a center and a captain, letting him know,
Bruce,
relay the messages to him, right?
Bruce, you want to know
And
something?
hmm
The Niners were gonna pick Mac Jones, and at 3 they traded up to get Mac Jones. And if you guys don't know that Mike Shanahan is Kyle's father is very involved with the Niners, and he convinced Kyle to not pick like another Jake Plummer, Jay Cutler type, and to go for the strong arm physical quarterback like the John Elway that he had, back in the late '80s, right?
hmm
So Mike Shanahan convinced his son to draft Trey Lance. So a little bit of context of how the Trey Lance pick. John Lynch, the organization was ready to take Mac Jones, and Mike Shanahan was like, "Hey, Kyle, you got to take a look at this kid." And then that's
got
when Kyle supposedly fell in love with Trey because he had just 2 years before gotten the shit kicked out of him by a physically gifted quarterback in the fourth quarter in Patrick Mahomes, and then lost to Josh Allen the following year, and was like, "Oh shit, I need to get a guy like that." And so that's why they drafted him. And then, and then they started using him in the way that they like. Kyle's using him in the way that he was not like. He drafted him for a different reason. Now we're running him up the gut. It's like, I don't know, man. I just don't get. I feel like they've completely fumbled the situation. But just for context, they were going to take Mac Jones, and Kyle's dad was like, "No, you're going to take
But can
Trey."
I? But can I be honest with you, brother? Mac Jones is not really a good quarterback. The only reason why Mac
No, Mac
Jones
Jones is
the only,
awful.
the only reason why Mac Jones was drafted is because he came out of Alabama. See, this is what I'm trying to tell you, Kevin. Kevin, you might be from the West Coast, but I've heard you talk sports enough to know that I know that you're an intellectual. Just because a person's degree says Yale on it, right? Maybe Yale, but just because a person's degree says, Yale versus another person that says San Diego State doesn't necessarily mean that person is ultimately a smarter person than you or a better athlete than you are. Ryan Fitzpatrick, probably one of the more recent quarterbacks with the highest IQ compared to all his peers, and he's out of the league. And nobody ever looked at this guy like wanting to be this guy. You understand what I'm saying? So I think just because you're a great play caller, bro, and just because your father won championships doesn't necessarily mean that's going to come down to you. Michael Jordan, as great as he
100%.
was, his kids didn't make it into the league. You understand? Doc Rivers, as good as he was, Austin Rivers is going to continue to keep riding the bench unless he finds somewhere where they can empower him and can continue to be a six man. But in saying that, again, dude, yeah, I've been trying everything. It's not working, right? I mean, the Patriots looking for different weapons to bring in. It's the reason DeAndre Hopkins ain't signed there. Too many people not trying to necessarily go play with Mac Jones, but they'll go play with Joe Burrow. They'll go play with Aaron Rodgers. They'll go play with these dudes. So at the end of the day, the way I'm looking at it, what I mean, what I try not to do is like make it a race thing, but I've always pinpointed and I've said this. Black quarterbacks have to go above and beyond because they do not
Preach,
receive the same grace. I
preach,
mean, we don't have to make it about that. Let's just call a spade a spade. You know what I mean?
preach.
And then when you got Daniel Jones, who most people said was garbage in New York, still getting opportunities to prove that he can grow, he can ascend. Why we can't do the same thing? You know what I mean? Gino, that's a friend of mine. We grew up 2 minutes away from each other. He just didn't work out. New York drafted him. It's just New York, man. The Jets are just a trash organization right now. So, it took him a couple years and the right coach to empower him and to unlock something. I think if Mark Sanchez doesn't get drafted to the Jets, maybe, he goes somewhere else and he flourishes for a couple more
No,
seasons. But
Bruce, I'm just going to keep it a buck. People were
mhm,
lying about Trey Lance. So when he was coming out of college, they
mhm,
were lying about his test scores because of the color of his skin, bro. Like just
that's
recent
crazy.
last year, bro, they were saying that he didn't score as well as people said, and actually people were like, no, he scored in like the 93rd percentile. Like, you, like you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it is a largely part about race, dude. Like there's a video that surfaced yesterday on the timeline of him overthrowing a throw in practice. But He actually did that in May, and now it's resurfacing 2 months later. Why? Because they want to kill the kid for what? For what reason?
Crazy, man.
For what reason? Like, it's
I'm
fairly
a,
obvious.
I'm gonna give you my take on the 49ers, Bruce. Me and you done talked about it. If
Yeah,
the 49ers are gonna get over the hump, they're going to have to insert Trey Lance if they want a shot at winning. I don't think Brock Purdy can get you there. I think that was some magical shit they was on, and there wasn't a lot of tape on him. And he did play well at times, and he stunk it up a little bit. But for the most part, he played well. But I think he will turn back into a pumpkin this year.
I
That
think.
and you're gonna need they're gonna have to ride the back of Trey. It don't matter if he start the season as QB1. It don't matter. But when they put him in, they're gonna go as Trey go. I don't think Purdy, and we all know who Sam Darnold. I don't know why people are pumping this guy up. This guy done had multiple opportunities, and he's a pest dispenser. He turns over the ball at a high rate. He'll
True.
throw he'll throw a dime, and you'll be like, wow. And then he'll throw a ball. You looking at your TV screen, he'll throw a ball, and you like, what the fuck are you looking at? He throws
Right.
it right to the defender. So we know who Sam Darnold is. The book is out on him.
90 plus turnovers in his 50 starts. Like,
Yeah,
that's ridiculous, man.
yeah.
And
So
and and, and
That's crazy.
I just think Shanahan needs to get out of his way, man. I've seen Shanahan put a lot of players that he fall out with in the doghouse, and he's a
yep,
stubborn
he did
coach.
that to Ayuk. He did it to
Yeah,
Ayuk, and all of a sudden, who's the best player in training camp this year?
IU.
Brandon Ayuk. So then now I got to question you as your football acumen. How you put this dude in the doghouse, and this dude is a complete like monster. Like
Yeah,
what was it that you seen? Was it his attitude? Maybe I would have attitude too if every time I'm running the route, nobody looking at me, and I know I can be a beast, right? Come on,
yeah,
man.
yeah. So it's Shanahan, which I don't think he can function like that. I don't think he's competent enough to get out of his own way because he reminds me so much of his dad. His dad was like that. He was
Yeah,
Hey,
but I'm gonna
stubborn,
tell you
bro.
what
Bruce,
up.
you
What
remember
up?
you remember 2 years ago when we played the Texans when Trey had his second career start?
Yeah.
Do you remember the bullshit they were doing in the first half with this zone read and quarterback run and all this crap?
Yep.
You remember what happened in the second half? Kyle completely scrapped that game plan and said, "You know what, Trey? I'm going to let you play quarterback." The run
Right.
game was going. We were doing play action off of it. Bro, we scored 20 points and he only had to throw 10 passes. Like, the offense it goes to a different level when Trey's in rhythm and the run game is working because he can hit throws on all three levels of the field.
Yeah,
I've seen him make a throw from outside of the left numbers, 50 yards down the field to the opposite right side of the field on the opposite numbers. There's like maybe 3 or 4 quarterbacks in the entire league that are making that throw. So, and by the way, we had a touchdown called back in that game for a penalty. So really, it was like 27 points and a half, and the dude only had to throw 10 passes. Like, I don't know what kind of efficiency that is in terms of NBA terms, but like, bro, like, I don't know if Kyle gets it. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what he's doing, man. I
To
really don't
me,
get it.
to me, like I said, if we got Trevor Lawrence in there, by all means, you better play him. That's a stud. If we got a Justin Herbert in there, by all means, you better play that guy. You know what I mean? If you got a Joe Burrow, if you have, you know what I mean, somebody who, even if you got a Derek Carr, who, as mediocre as he could be, I know that he's competent enough and at least better than Jimmy Garoppolo, in my opinion. Then by all means, you go ahead and play. But when you're playing this whole theatrics and charades, oh, it's a quarterback competition, and but then you got one guy getting all the reps with the ones, and another quarterback not being able to use Ayuk or CMC and different things like that. Then it's like, is it really a fair fight? You know what I mean? And then for you to not just have the decency to just come out and say, dude, this is who we riding with. He won the starting spot. And then, people will get their opportunities. I can't respect you, dog, because y'all playing this dance and charades game every single year. I can't respect that, bro.
You know why Brandon Ayuk is not considered a top 5 wide receiver? because he's never played a quarter. He's never played with a quarterback that can consistently throw outside the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, if you put Brandon Ayuk with Justin Herbert, the guy's going for 1,600 a season. Like,
Yep.
come on, man. Like, we're not using our weapons to their fullest potential. We're using Debo because he's great with the ball in his hands, but we're not utilizing every single player on the roster that we have, and that's my problem. When you have Trey Lance in there, you can have the speed guy, you can have the route running guy, you can hand the ball off to Debo in the backfield, you can have McCaffrey split out wide and do a choice route and pick up 15. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my problem. We're
My
just
thing,
handicapping our offense.
and my thing is when you paying Jimmy Garoppolo 20-something mil, and you see after that Super Bowl, I don't think he he's the answer, right? When he got there, he didn't take you over the hump. I don't think he can bounce back, right? And you know what I mean? And then you still give him his job. He gets hurt for 2-3 weeks. He comes back, he gets his job. He gets hurt for 2-3 weeks. He comes back, he gets his job. But then now this kid breaks his foot because you turn him into a running back. Jimmy Garoppolo breaks his foot. And then now this kid steadies the ship and wins 7 games. Ultimately, he didn't look too good in the Cowboys game. He had some good things here and there. He started off slow, but the defense really won that game for us, in my opinion. And then, for him to get the job back is, to me, I don't think it's an issue. But I think when you have a player like Jimmy Garoppolo, who, me personally, he should have lost his job a long time ago, but you kept giving him the benefit of the doubt, and you don't do it for somebody you gave up all his draft capital for, then it's like, is it the front office against the coach? Is it the coach against the GM?
Oh,
Like, you know what I mean? Is it somebody wanted him or somebody didn't want him? You know what I
Bruce,
mean?
Bruce, I'm gonna tell you something. Them guys, they jumped at the hip. Him and Lynch, they pin with each other together. So that shit falls on both of them. Can't neither one of them say, "Oh, that was his pick." Nah, Y'all gave up too much compensation to go get that guy. So that falls on both of y'all. And y'all just re-up on the new deal. Both of y'all
So
got
Jermaine, do you know why? Do you know why we had to we had to go up to 3 to get Trey? Because Atlanta was sitting there at 4 and was going to take him. I'm just telling you that right now. I know for a fact.
I
I know for a fact
I know
that
that.
Atlanta was going to take him at 4. So
I know that,
I'm
but
just telling you that's why we had to trade up to 3.
and
Is the
can't
original thought? The
and
original
nobody
thought was Mac Jones.
that's what I'm saying. Can't nobody say, "Oh, that was Kyle pick," or Kyle can't say that was John pick. No, they picked that together. And hey, say when y'all cut ties, get rid of both of them motherfuckers, because that's how it should go. So for you to both of y'all to make that decision and go up to go get Trey, and for you not to play him and not get a fair shot, that shit is asinine, bro. That's crazy.
And for me personally, I'm rubbed the wrong way personally because, I was in the military still when Colin Kaepernick started doing the protest, and I had people who can't play sports a day in their life, would never put on the gear and go do a hamburger drill, right? And I had people on TV in they suits and these lying people who just hide behind their bias, and then they're saying Colin Kaepernick is no longer good at football. That's why he's not getting another opportunity. I'm like, that's such a lie, bro. Like, I've seen Paxton Lynch get an opportunity. We've seen so many different people get opportunities, and I've seen what this dude in the playoffs and how he, turned into a playoff rise as far as in, just the threat of him running and could being able to throw the ball, helping the Niners win games. And then we're gonna say, oh, he's just not good enough. Nah, it was never the case. It was because the dude was protesting something. And if you hate black people so much, this dude is mixed. You know what I mean? This dude is a white and black guy. You know what I mean? So it's like, just because you see him standing up for one thing, and then y'all got some issue with it. I had an issue with that, and then so like when you drafted somebody, not saying that you're gonna have to walk on eggshells because you draft a player, but it's just, if you believe he's not good enough, just cut him or just trade him and just not have to deal with the theatrics. Don't say, "Oh, he's our guy," and we're confident in him, we're proud of this, and like, are you trying to raise his trade value? Don't even do that. You get what I'm saying? Because that organization, to me, that's still a sensitive subject that a lot of people don't want to speak about. Blackballing the dude because he speaks up about certain things. You know what I mean? It's crazy to me, bro. Don't make no sense.
I personally think if Kyle Shanahan chooses Brock Purdy this year, and if he stays healthy, if the team stays healthy, and we're if we don't make it to the NFC Championship, I think he has to be fired because you can't you can't make the same mistake as you did years ago because you had Jimmy Garoppolo. You won 5 games with him. He got paid, and then you didn't bring any after that season. They should have franchise tagged him. They should have done something to bring in competition and have him prove it. And now you're doing the same thing with Brock Purdy. He wins you 8 games. He wins 2 playoff games, and now you're committing to him as a starter when you have a guy who's more physically gifted, and he's not even given a chance at a competition this year. That's fireable to me. Like that, if you don't win the Super Bowl, if you're not proving yourself right, that is fireable to me. I'm just
But
telling you right now.
but what's fireable to me is the fact that you can't just come out and say that's who you chose. Like, I can respect you more if you just come out and say this is your number one. Everybody else got to work harder to get the job. But you making it seem like there's this competition going on. But like, is it really a competition? Like you got to understand how a lot of these credentials people are. And a lot of people might hate Grant Cohn, but I actually love this dude. Like, he got some stuff that I don't agree with, but I love the fact that he'll challenge certain things and bring certain things up to the forefront. You know what I mean? Because when you start hearing Kawakami and Mayoko and David Lombardi and all these guys start talking and tweeting a certain way, you know that they have the ability to influence fans. Because if you got 100 or some thousand followers, you could tweet out the earth is flat, and just because people support you, they're gonna start questioning the earth and everything like that, and you say it enough, they might believe you. So all I'm saying is, when he challenged these guys and he asked these certain questions, like to the coach and the Lynch and everything like that, people feel like he trolling and it's clickbait. But everybody do clickbait when they're trying to get their message across, when they're trying to get views, when they're trying to stay higher, when they're trying to stay relevant. So I don't even look at that. But trust me, it's a lot of people within the Niner community that's exposing a lot of these biased people, and I love it.
Well, and here's the other thing, Bruce, is you can't trust the organization because the week of the Super Bowl, Trey was saying, you know what, like I got injured, like I understand Brock came in and did an amazing job. Like I just want to, like he deserves to be the quarterback one, but I just want a chance to compete for the starting job. I believe I've earned that. And I just want a chance to compete. And, Kyle come up here and saying during OTAs, you know, uh, it's possible for Trey to take over the starting spot again. It's just going to be difficult based on how Brock played. But he made it seem like that there would be a competition. Now we're in training camp, and Lance is splitting reps with fucking Brandon Allen, who's not even going to be on a team. He's not going to be on a team this year. Like, you just can't trust the organization, what they're saying with what they say, because Trey has deserved the chance based on where he was drafted. He won us in a very important game in 2021. He's got an elite skill set. You can't go all in on Brock Purdy after 8 games. You just can't do it. So my problem is that there hasn't been a competition where there should be a competition. Because if you go all in on Brock Purdy and you don't win the Super Bowl this year, and then you can't, in a couple years you can't start paying guys because Brock Purdy has to get paid, like it's an issue, man. Like,
Hey, you know what I told Kev? You know what I told one of my homies downstairs? He's a Niner fan too. You know what I told him yesterday? I say, look, at this point, you know what I want to happen? I want I want the Niners to do the same thing the Warriors were just forced to do. Because as much as, there was a Draymond Green punch era, Jordan Poole wanted to leave too. So people need to know that. And he needed to know that because he understood that he wasn't going to start over Clay, you know what I mean? And it was just one of those things, right? And I believe just the dynamic of always being a question and you not getting a real opportunity. What I would love to see is for Trey Lance to just leave. Kind of, you see how the Rams used Jared Goff and said that it's because of him they didn't win, and dude just had an all-time season with the Detroit Lions, and people are saying, wait, he's actually better than we thought. I'm hoping that Trey gets moved and he excels, and then all the people who said that he wasn't good, from the credential press to people who may have leaked information. I feel like all of those people should get exposed. And it's the same thing with Jordan Poole. I want him to go over there and flourish. You know what I mean? Because if the Warriors don't win, if he was the issue, other people got to answer for that. You get what I'm saying?
100%. I personally think that Lance, whatever happens to him, is tied to Kyle. And if Trey doesn't work out, then Kyle needs to be fired, because you can't give up all that capital and then say, oh, well, look what I'm doing with the 7th-round quarterback, and not get it done, bro. It's just like too many excuses. You have this kid who has top 7, top 8 potential right there, and you're just completely fumbling it. And this is the second time, bro. Like, go back and look what happened to RG3. The dude wins Offensive Rookie of the Year, right? He tears 3 ligaments in his knee, and then what happens the following season? He comes back sooner than expected, and fucking Kyle Shanahan runs him 90 times. In 2 years, he's out of
Hey,
the league.
and look, let me
Bro, like,
tell
come
you.
on, man. Like,
Let,
use
let
your
me let me
fucking
let me
head.
let me
Use
let
your
me let
head.
me
You don't
let
run a
me
guy after tearing 3 ligaments in his knee. You just
let
don't
me
do it, man.
let
Like,
me
come on.
let me tell you, with my friends that work in the Dolphins organization, right? One of my friends says, man, Tua knew he had that concussion, right? But because his job was already in question initially, even though he started off the season well, I mean, you're playing in a lion's den, right? And there's always somebody on your heels waiting to take your job. So if you stay out too long, you know what I mean? It's the same reason why Klay Thompson didn't want to come off no bench, because if he come off the bench and Poole is killing it, they thinking about keeping you on that bench. You get what I'm saying? So with Tua, he's like, nah, bro, I got to come back because I don't want to lose my job. He comes back and then he really gets hurt. So then now he got to be reevaluating, retiring, and all these different stuff, and you know what I mean. And then he comes back, kind of does well, but then, yeah, then you try to come back, you couldn't. They finished the season without you. Then now you got to go take counter. Like you got to go learn jujitsu or whatever to help you learn how to break your fall, whatever the case is. But the reason you did that is the same thing like Brock. Everybody's saying, "Oh my God, I didn't know that." He could heal so fast. Like we stop acting like Brock is Adrian Peterson, who came back from ACL way before he's supposed to come back. You know what I
Bro,
mean? Like
AP,
partially,
AP, AP came back from his ACL in 5 months and then had a 2,000-yard season. Like,
but see what I'm saying? That's not normal. And we you can see freak on him from high school to college. Nobody saw a freak on Brock Purdy. Hence the reason why he was a 5th-year senior and was the last pick in the draft. You understand what I'm saying? So while you happy that he's healed, if he's healed, and he's not coming back too early because he don't want to lose his job, you know what I mean? To me, the Niners it's just comedy, bro.
Bruce, you know what else to me is fireable as well? For me, Kyle's on the hot seat this year regardless. If he doesn't win the Super Bowl, he's on the hot seat. Let's say, and I don't want Brock Purdy to get injured. I really don't want that, because I want the kid to flourish and have a good career. But let's say he does go down. You bring in Trey Lance as QB2. If you're running like QB power and all this read option bullshit, knowing that Sam Darnold is capable right behind him, and he gets hurt again, bro, you have to fire Kyle. You can't keep running
But
this kid
hey, I'm gonna be honest with you,
after
brother.
a serious injury,
I'm gonna
and
be
then
honest with you. If I'm
just
Trey
expect
Lance,
that Sam Darnold's going to be right there. You know what I mean? It's just like, you can't
look.
do that again.
If I'm gonna be honest with you, I can guarantee you this: Trey Lance, his peoples, his family, or whoever they're in his corner, they're telling him. They said, "Look, for the past couple of years under this coach, the quarterbacks have been rotated for whatever reason, whether it been a sprained ankle, whether it been a little knee bum, whatever the case is. Guys have been out for a few weeks or whatever, right? So we're not going to wish injury, and it's unfortunate that you have to say these things, but this is how sports is. Your opportunity is going to come, all right? So just humbly support the guy. Wait, your opportunity is going to come, but you let that coach know if he believes that, oh, hey, we're gonna start running you like a running back. Hell no, I'm good. I ain't going in there. I'll let him know straight up. You could call me a diva. You could put the word out there that I'm ignorant. My IQ is low. You can do whatever you want. But I'm going to come out and I'll go just do the same thing Aaron Rodgers did. I'll find somebody who like athletes, like a Pat McAfee, and I'll say, listen, man, I told the coach straight up, the last time you tried to treat me like a fullback or running back, I broke my ankle. If you can't allow me to play quarterback just like the other guys and you don't trust my accuracy, then I just don't. I won't suit up and I won't go in there. If people don't respect me for that, fine. But I'm not going to end my career because you want to treat me like a running back, straight up.
Bro, do you realize the Niners haven't had a quarterback healthy in back-to-back seasons in almost 10 years. Like, he's going to get his shot to play this year. Like you said, like, you don't want that to happen, but bro, like, quarterbacks go down in Kyle's system, whether you want to like it or not. Like, I have a feeling that all three quarterbacks are going to play at some point this year. Like, and I hate to say that, but history has told me that is going to be the case. You know what I'm
And then
saying? Like, you
and
can't
then I'm looking
ignore
at Peyton
history.
Manning, and then I'm
You
looking at
can't
Peyton
ignore
Manning,
history.
and I'm looking at Peyton Manning in all these years. Peyton Manning, bruh, in let me see, about what, 12 seasons? This dude didn't even miss a game. But in that first season, he had 26 touchdowns and 28 interceptions, set a league record, right? For interceptions. I don't know if it was a rookie or whatever the case is, or all time. But here's the thing, he was still empowered. He was still given an opportunity to continue to keep playing. And guess what? He still had protection. If you're a quarterback and you're starting 12 years in the league without missing a game and you got nicked up and bruised, that means, right? That means they're still protecting you. You're getting sacked, but they're still protecting you. And this kid, he's not getting he's not getting the same opportunity. You know what I mean? So that's just my only issue.
Yeah, bro, 100%. That's why we also have problems with the offensive line, because it seems like they don't really address it. You know, they addressed it in the draft and they got Trent Williams, but other than that, like, they're not doing the things that they need to do to keep the quarterbacks upright, because we went through 4 last year. Like, that's an issue. Can't do that again. I mean, or we've been talking about this shit for 3 years, bro. Every day on Niners Twitter, it's like the same thing over and over again. But it's like, it's tiring at this point. I wish Kyle would just pick somebody and not, dangle out there that it's a competition when it's really not a competition. Just say Brock Purdy's a starter. So I don't know, man. It can be very tiring talking about the
You,
Niners.
you think that Purdy's going to be the starter?
Yeah,
Oh, 100%. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. But that's I don't call him Shanahan. I have a name for Kyle. His name is Shitty Hand. So that's the kind of games he's been playing. But I feel bad for the kid, bro, because it can break you mentally, bro, on the mental aspect of he know he ain't got a fast shot, and the real football fans and people that watch ball and break this shit down know he haven't got his shot. And I think the team gonna rally behind him. I think the team, if you ask the guys and didn't put their names out there, they would want Trey Lance to be the quarterback. They they know Kyle can scheme up anybody and make them look good at that position. He's a great play caller. I don't think he's a great head coach. I think he's a great play caller.
We talk about that with Steve Kerr too as well. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think Steve. It's funny because Steve Kerr has like fucked up some things like um, personnel wise lately and all of that, right? Like in terms of managing the roster.
Right.
But I think like the more times than not, he does a really good job in terms of managing egos. You know what I'm saying? The part of that where I think he fucked up, but in terms of like calling plays and the logistics of it, I don't think he's the greatest at it. You know what I'm saying? But in terms of like managing the team and all of that, I think where Steve Kerr kind of fucked up is that he let Draymond dictate a lot of things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And and I think with Draymond dictating a lot of things, that's where things went awry. That's how like I almost view Shanahan and Kerr like in the same light, but for opposite reasons. You know what I'm saying? So Kerr has like the ego management stuff down, right? But the calling and the logistics of the offense, not the greatest. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not really malleable in terms of knowing what's happening and like he's just dead set. And I think Shanahan like the play calling and all of that, he's great at that. But like in terms of managing
Yep.
like managing the locker room and knowing like what's about to pop off from what's not. He's not really that great at it. You know what I'm saying? That's
Right.
just my read from like a 10,000 foot view, basically. So
But here's the thing. Here's the
So
difference between.
perfect example of that. Sorry to cut you off, Bruce. Last
You
year in the
got it.
NFC Championship game, there was a fourth down. You were probably watching her because you're an Eagles fan.
yeah,
Um, so Devontae Smith drops that pass right
yeah,
Oh
on
gosh.
fourth down and on the first drive of the game. One of our safeties, Talanoa Hufunga, runs over to Kyle and says, "Hey, dude, you got to challenge this. He dropped the ball." Completely ignores him,
Yep.
and
Remember that.
you could see Devontae Smith saying, huddle up to the line, and they got a playoff. And
Yep.
like Kyle just completely ignored his player. He was probably looking at his fucking play sheet. That's his problem. He doesn't pay attention to the
Hey,
game.
Kevin,
You
let
know
me
what I'm
tell you.
saying?
Let me explain this to you. Two things. This is gonna go. This. Your. The answer to you is gonna lead back to my initial point. Here's the difference between Kyle Shanahan and Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr actually played with the greatest player of all time. Steve Kerr actually went toe to toe with dude, whether he got punched or not, and he also proved in himself that he got the capacity and the composure to knock down shots when it mattered. So he lived up to the moment. Not only if that didn't make it worse, he also had the opportunity to go and sit down, not only under just Phil Jackson, but under now Popovich and be alongside a Duncan. You know what I mean? And the Admiral and those guys. So there's many people that vouch for him. Where even though some people say, "Oh, he was given a job, he was horrible in Phoenix," and that could be true. I mean, Belichick didn't do well in Cleveland either, right? But the difference is Shanahan was a receiver at Texas. You know what I mean? So didn't so shouldn't you be like a receivers coach, right? Or shouldn't you be and shouldn't you be if you're such a genius, shouldn't you be able to unleash the receivers, right? And then they say that you are a quarterback expert, even though Trey Lance got to go out there and train with some other coach to get help, right? Ironic enough. And then now all of a sudden, you know what I mean? You just can't get over the hump. And it's a thing. It's that power shift, that power ego. When your player is saying, "Coach, listen, bro, do this, bro, challenge it," that changed the whole dynamic of the game. You know what I mean? And the fact that you don't want to listen to them, it just shows that you feel like you got too much power. You think if Michael Jordan tell Phil Jackson, "Hey, yo, challenge that, bro," you think he not doing it? You think if Kobe Bryant say, "Hey, challenge that," he not doing it? That's why, at times if I see Draymond Green get upset because they're not doing it, okay, cool. But bro, if Steph tell you to challenge it, whether he wrong or not, you better do it. And if you feel like you don't want to do it, you think of yourself too highly. Straight up, bro. That's how I view Shanahan. He got too much power.
I'm with you, Bruce, man. Shit, he's something else, bro. He just he caught up in his ways, man. He remind me so much of his fucking daddy. I remember his daddy. You know his daddy did not want RG3 in Washington. That was the fucking owner, Snyder. Daniel Snyder told him no. That's who we fucking drafted. And if you remember in the Seattle game against Seattle in the playoffs, the sloppy field conditions, the field was fucked up anyway. And that's when RG3 tore his fucking ACL and put the man back out there. Put the man back out there. If y'all remember, that's really what
Well,
derailed.
so you know what? RG3 actually came out and said I wanted to go back out there and play. So I don't put that much.
But Kevin, Kevin,
To me,
Kevin,
it's the following season.
Kevin, you know the reason why players say that? I'm telling you, it's a lion's den. You can't,
Yeah.
bruh. Hey, listen. Have you watched the documentary about the guys from Steel Curtain and how, when the CTE and all those things were being hidden, how these guys were going crazy, living in their cars and going crazy, getting divorced, and their family can't figure out what's going on with them. Did you ever watch that documentary?
No,
I
I
said,
didn't.
The point I'm trying to say to you is these guys get programmed, right, to go turn into crash dummies. You understand? And then, when we've used you enough, like a Cam Newton, we're gonna get rid of you. You understand? And then
You're mean to tell me that I'm telling you, you create this mentality that I got to be tough enough. I got to get that next rep. I can't let the dude behind me take my spot. You remember how D'Angelo Hall tore his ACL and everything in training camp this time of the year, and dude career was over? You remember how Ty Law, if I'm not mistaken, was Ty Law, got shook on the field towards ACL, his career was over. So some of these guys should even give it up sooner than they should or sooner than they do. But because you're trying to keep this mentality and because you've been programmed a certain way, you understand what I mean? Yeah, you're going to come out and say, oh, I wanted to play. Come on, man. And then you got Steve Young saying he could barely walk up the stairs sometimes. He in so much pain. His fingers, his this, his that, and the third. Like, come on, man. You think I'm putting my body on the line for a coach to treat me like this, bro?
You
And
know
rub
what? You know what my problem is with the Shanahans is RG3 is arguably one of the most physically gifted, quick, fast, big arm talent quarterback we've seen in the last 30, 35 years. Bro, if they bought into him and built an offense around him, not only do I think the Redskins would have been competing for Super Bowls, I think we'd be talking about RG3 as a potential Hall of Fame player. Like, that's my problem is like you have this guy that is more talented than he so I'm just going to say this in terms of talent, physical ability, everything. IQ, Lance is a top 6 to 8 talent in the NFL, and he's just sitting there being wasted. That was my problem with RG3. Is like this guy came in, he had one good year at Baylor, two good years at Baylor. He won Offensive Rookie of the Year when Andrew Luck was supposed to be the next Joe Montana, right? This guy comes in, leads Washington to the playoffs in his rookie season, right? And bro, if they just protected him and built a system around him, we could be talking about RG3 as one of the 10 to 12 greatest quarterbacks of all time. But his career was wasted because these guys kept putting him in the line of fire and running him and running him and running him. It's like, bruh, like let him play quarterback. Like you don't win Super Bowls by running the football with your quarterback. You win Super Bowls by letting them play quarterback and throw the ball. So that's my problem with Kyle and Mike. And to me, they're making the same mistake over again. They have one of the most talented kids in the league, and they're just wasting it. It's just a complete waste. And that's why, like, I will always defend RG3. I love RG3. Like, and he to me is one of the saddest stories in the league because we could be talking about him as a Hall of Fame quarterback, and the Shanahans fucked him up, plain and simple.
Yeah, bro. Like that first year that he had was absolutely electric. You know what I'm saying?
Go back and watch him. He was the most electric player in the
Oh
league
my
as
god,
a 22-year-old rookie. Like, oh man, I
bro. He was never the
get
same
pissed
after
off
that.
about it. I get pissed off about it because everybody was like, "Oh, Andrew Luck's gonna have the better career," and it turned out that he did. But don't tell me if RG3 stays healthy and the Shanahan's build an offense, a way to protect him, that he would not be still still playing today. Two, we'd be talking about him in Canton right now, like going to Canton. So don't even get me started with the RG3 situation, man.
Yeah, that shit that he was doing in his first year.
I remember that shit live time. I was beating the airways up on RG3 and Andrew Luck. Yeah, that was a time to be in right there.
And don't forget, Washington traded up. They traded 3 first-round picks and a second-round pick to go get RG3. They fucking ruined his career, and look what Kyle is doing again. Like
hey,
history repeats itself in very very
hey, Kevin,
suspicious ways.
Kevin, I got one. So one of my close friends down here, he's a jewelry designer, and he made Lamar's big old chain and everything like that, right? And I'm telling you, man, these dudes like Lamar, he knew what he was doing, bro. He said, "I got a little injury, but I'm not coming back. I need to get that bag first, and I need to be sure. You know what I mean? I need to be sure because that they're going to make some adjustments where the offense is concerned because he's carrying the Ravens on his back and they're still questioning his ability year after year, even after winning MVP. So I
I mean,
I wish RG
Bruce,
just sat out. You know what I mean? But it
Bruce,
is.
look at what they doing with the running back, the running back position.
Yeah,
Just
it's
everybody is a league all on us.
yeah,
Can't tell me they ain't colluding, bro.
yeah. It's sad.
I don't care what anybody says. Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league. But
Yeah,
to me, Lamar Jackson is the second best overall weapon in the entire NFL. The dude is he's just fucking different. Like
yeah. He's a different.
the shit that he does, man, you should not be able to do at 6'3", 230 pounds. Like you just like, bro, he's just different. And
Yeah, he's
bro,
different.
if Kyle Shanahan got a guy like that on the Niners, bro, we'd be winning every other year at least. I mean, that's my problem. You get these guys, you have them on your roster, and you're just wasting them. Like it's just really sad, man.
It's crazy, man. I wish we had a Lamar Jackson on our team.
Did Lamar Jackson sign his deal yet?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, I'm
yeah,
talking
he got paid. Yeah, he got paid.
they was
How much
gonna
was
pay.
his contract?
Uh,
I'm gonna tell you right now.
Oh, 5 years, 260. What was the guarantees?
Hold on, let's see.
5 years, 260. That's a bag, bro.
oh yeah,
105 million, 185 million in guarantees.
Yeah, 185 guaranteed.
Overall guarantees is 185,
yeah,
but for sure he starts off at 135 guarantees. And you know he'll make the 185 because Pro Bowl, All Pro, he'll get that.
yeah.
And he had a 72.5 million signing bonus. So you see, look, Kevin, you see this?
Can you imagine giving Brock Purdy that type of money? Jesus Christ, bro.
Kevin, do you see?
Fuck.
Do you see Roman Reigns, his 5 Super Bowl contenders?
The Niners, Chiefs, Eagles, Bengals, Bills.
And what's going to happen is when we lose again because of uncertainty at quarterback, we're going to hear it wasn't Shanahan's fault.
And to me, he got the Bills. I'm telling you, bro. You can see it from a team perspective. Super Bowls are won in the off season, man. When you able to team build camaraderie. The shit that the Jets are doing, they gonna win that division. To me, I think
How's
they
it
gonna.
how's it not the coach's fault when you have the best roster in the league every single fucking season and you don't win the Super Bowl? How's it not the head coach's fault?
It
I
comes.
mean,
Absolutely.
come on, man. Like we were
It
the
comes.
best team. We were the best team in 2019. We were the best team in 2021. We were the best team in 2022, and we're still not winning. I mean,
Yep.
come on, man. Like it's on the coach. You can't tell me that the Niners don't have the best roster in the league this year, top to bottom. They do. They've got like 6 All Pros. I mean, come on. it's really not rocket science. Kyle's got to get it done.
But
No
always,
excuses.
Kevin, you do know in football, best roster don't always win, bro. That's
I know, but
yeah.
but but when you have the best roster consistently, you should get at least one. No.
And not only that, when you have the best roster consistently, like Kansas City Chiefs, who don't even have the best defense, they end up in the Super Bowl every other year. So it's like, you can't even really even use that as an excuse though. Like, so yeah, the best team doesn't always win, but they are at least always, giving themselves a shot. You know what I mean? And
But if you look at it from what Kevin's saying, you do have a shot. You make it to the NFC Championship.
nah, for me,
That's
that's not good enough.
that's a shot though. That's a
Nah,
shot
get to
though,
the Super
bro.
Bowl. Get to the Super Bowl. No, no,
Yeah,
no.
get
We
to the
too
Super
good.
Bowl
We
and
too
win.
good. We too
That's my
good to stop
expectation.
at the
Get to the
NFC
Super Bowl
team.
and win.
We too listen, we too good to stop at the NFC. You see how the Rams made it to the Super Bowl and then they fell off?
Yep.
Right. We're too good to let a team like that in our division come out of nowhere and steal one from before us, and we continue to keep knocking on the door.
Agreed. I agree. But I'm telling you, man, that shit starting off season. And when you got everybody on board and everybody showing up, the shit what the Jets doing. I like what the Jets doing. I like what Rogers is doing. Took a pay cut. He goddamn ain't missed the OTA, ain't missed the training camp day so far. It's that shit good. Took up for his head coach in the throughout his little press conference the other day when he sat down with NFL Network after Sean Payton tried to shit on his coach. He stood up for him. That shit go a long way, bro. Go a long way. He taking time up with the young players, coaching them up.
You know how some of us are really hard on Steve Kerr, like Jim Park is with Steve Kerr, right?
Yeah.
Bro, that's gonna be me with fucking Kyle Shanahan this year. I don't really care. Like, the dude has had so many chances. Yeah, he built this great team, but he just can't get it done. So I'm tired of these Kyle Shanahan ball ticklers, man. They're really annoying. Like,
You know what, Kevin? To your point, people don't want to admit it, but the truth is real. Kyle Shanahan is that coach that had two of the worst loss in playoff history in the fucking NFL as a signal caller. That fucking goddamn Atlanta, that he was the offensive coordinator. How they blew that fucking league and lost to the Patriots. Yeah, that was ridiculous.
in the last 5 games that his team has been eliminated, whether he's the play caller or the head coach, the team has scored 0 points in the fourth quarter, bro. Come on, man. Like, what can you even say? 0 points.
Yeah,
0 points. You're this offensive genius,
genius,
and
but you can't get
you
3
can't
points.
score. You can't
Can't
score
get
in
a
the
field
fourth
goal.
quarter.
You can't get a field goal. Oh shit! Yeah,
And it's so bad in 2021 when we lost to the Rams. We couldn't even net a single offensive yard in the fourth quarter. We were like -3. Like, come on, man. You're not an offensive genius play caller if that's happening. You're just not. I don't care. You can blame it on the quarterback. You can blame it on the players. Fine. If you're a head coach and you're this offensive genius, you can manufacture just by a single play fucking a positive yard in the NFC Championship game. I don't care who you are. I could call plays and get a positive yard, bro. I really don't care. Like, it's just the lore and the status that our fans have put Kyle in is just it's so frustrating.
so a lot of people, do they see it like you and y'all fan base?
Oh my god, dude, he can do no wrong. He literally cannot do wrong, bro. I'm telling you. Like,
Ray. I'm not Ray. Jermaine. I was at a game one time. I was just telling them this earlier, and bro, they were clapping, cheering, standing ovation for Kyle Shanahan like he won fucking 5 Super Bowls, bro. Like, it was interesting to see. So I know Kevin is not exaggerating because like I've seen it like at Dubs games. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, they're treating Kyle Shanahan, bro, like he's like a championship coach, bro. I'm telling you. That's how
Wow.
they treat him. I'm like,
we
yo,
we hammer Steve Kerr for his day-to-day bullshit, and he's won 4 championships as the head coach of the Golden State Warriors. You
Right.
say one negative thing about Kyle Shanahan on the timeline, and he hasn't won fucking shit, and
And
it's like you're a hater. You don't know anything about football. It's like, bro, we hammer a dude who's won 4 NBA titles as a head coach, and we still can criticize him, but we can't criticize a guy who can't score any points in the fourth quarter. It's like, come on, man. It's just stupid. Everybody is accountable from the top, the ownership, the head coach, the players. When you lose, it's on everybody. So I don't want to hear this. Oh, the head coach had a bad quarterback. You can't even manufacture a single yard, bro. I mean, come on, man. It's disgusting.
yeah, bro. And I'm not even here to tell you like, oh, Steve Kerr this and nah, bro. Like, Steve Kerr's successful, but he's fucked up, bro. Like, there's plenty of points where he's like, fuck this shit up, bro. So I mean, it is what it is. Hey, but let me get off here. I gotta get some stuff done. So we might tap back in later. Let me see what I'm doing this afternoon.
that's a bit.
Sounds
All
good.
right,
All
all
right.
right, y'all. Good conversation this morning, by the way.
Oh yeah. All the time.
All right, y'all.
All right.
Have a good morning.